Our next Outstanding Trial Lawyer Award comes from the land of labor and employment. Our awardee is a rising star in the plaintiff bar, Mr. Justin Walker. The case is Shujun Kui versus Three Rivers Provider Network. Ms. Kui, who goes by June, was hired as a new controller for a healthcare insurance provider. She was brought in to help clean things up, as just before she had been hired, the founder and the CEO was investigated and had to pay a $7 million fine to the IRS for tax fraud. June was brought in under the guise to help right the ship and to get the company's financial house of cards in order. However, this case is another shining example of the old adage, a leopard doesn't change its spots. And that was certainly true with this defendant and its CEO. Shortly after being hired, June was asked to investigate a claim that a subsidiary owed money to one of its shareholders. And as a part of her investigation, she discovered that her company actually owed the subsidiary upward of $200,000. When she brought this to the attention of the powers that be, they told her, liquidate the account. Don't pay the subsidiary or the shareholder what was owed. June refused. Shortly after, June had lunch with one of the company salesmen. At lunch, he proceeded to tell her that he was sexually harassed by the founder of the company, including requests that he sleep with the founder's wife. June thought this was abhorrent, and in an effort to help her coworker, she immediately and appropriately reported the harassment to the company's new head of HR. Their response? Keep your mouth shut, June. She later learned that the hand-picked HR director was close friends of the founder, and the fix was in. After these two incidents, at a company-wide meeting, the CEO praised loyal employees, spoke of them as if they were like family, and warned those who are not loyal will be broke and miserable. June got scared. She took the documents she found that showed fraud. She brought them home. Within weeks, she was fired. This was a tough case where everything was in dispute. It's one of those trials where you are fighting on 100 different fronts. And if you lose focus and you spend too much time on one defense or another, you can end up losing the war. But Justin didn't let that happen, making this one of the top 20 labor and employment verdicts in California in 2019. Congratulations to Justin, his team, and most importantly, his client for this outstanding result.
Justin Walker.
Ken Turek.
How are you?
I'm doing well, sir.
Congratulations on your award.
Thank you very, very much.
A pretty amazing result, and I'm sure you're really proud of it.
Very much so. Thank you.
Can you share with us a little bit about your dad?
Certainly. So my father is an immigrant from Scotland, born in 1944, one of 9 children. My father tells stories of growing up very much like Oliver Twist. Literally stealing hams off the back of trucks, literally stealing copper pipes to sell to keep warm. And he got really lucky one day when he played the soccer pools, where like a parlay. And he bet, I think it was on 14 different soccer games to pick the winners. I think he got 11 is what it is. And in 1963, I believe he won the equivalent of about 400 grand in today's dollars, which,
oh, man.
So he picked up and moved to, I believe it was Lakewood, California, and slowly but surely brought the whole family over. And he started working in a steel factory, a steel mill in Los Angeles. He worked the swing shift, he worked the night shift, and he ultimately worked his way up to becoming the CEO of that company.
And your mom is a critical care nurse.
My mother was a critical care nurse for 34 years, working all over Los Angeles, California, in a variety of different hospitals, including Whittier Presbyterian, ICU nurse. Very much a nurturing mother, a very, very loving, very assertive, very, very assertive. She is not someone to be trifled with.
What is it that you find most gratifying in your work?
Bringing the other side down to earth, making them see what they've done and answer for it. I think that's incredibly satisfying to step in the shoes of your client and fight their fight for them and make the other side see what they've done and to make things right. I think in this particular case, when we got the verdict we did, it was vindication for our client that what she did was absolutely the right thing to do. And you know, she stood up for a couple other employees and then they hammered her for it. And then they had the audacity to tell her to get lost and to scoff at us throughout the whole case. And to get that verdict and have those jurors look at us and say, we're with you, it was priceless.
Yeah.
You know, I was in tears. It was awesome. It was a rush, but really the best feeling was just knowing that that defendant somewhere, hopefully, is not going to do this again.
There was a great story I heard about your dad giving you some advice when you were going in for your first job interview.
So my first job interview ever was at Disneyland. I was about 15. And you know, at this point in time, my dad was an executive with the company and he was interviewing people too. So, you know, I thought, you know what I should do. And he tells me, just be yourself. Just tell the truth and be yourself. And I said, okay, I can do that. And so I go into the room to be interviewed. And the interview says, what's your worst quality? I said, you know, I got a real problem with authority. You know, I just can't stand when someone tries to tell me what to do. You know, I don't like it at all. You know, but I get things done my own way, kind of thing.
Oh, man.
And I told my dad this on the way home. I said, you did what? What did you do? You know, so yeah, I didn't get that job.
Well, you learned how to interview.
I'd like to think so. We'll see how that translates today.
Justin, who would you like to thank for helping you on this case?
I think the first person is my partner, Jared Velez, who tried the case with me, who came aboard the firm right as this case was starting to get going. I would thank my wife, Lori, my other partner, never-ending support, relentless encouragement, and Jared's wife, Jordan Velez, you know, part of the team too. She's such a positive person and was always supportive of us and what we wanted to do. And finally, Lori's cousin, Madison Tabler, who at 19 moved from Kansas to come stay with us and helped us out as an intern and basically did everything that we needed her to do so that we could do our jobs in this case.
Thanks for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.